person we're going to get in. Tyra Cummings is the dean. Come on, Dean. Robinson Wood Middle School in Orlando. She was a juvenile corrections officer and probation officer for 5 years. Then she became a teacher. You got to hear her story about how she became a teacher in Georgia and is now the real deal dean of a middle school in Orlando. And she moved back to Tangelo Park with her 15-year-old son with the benefit of the Rosen scholarship. And her parents still live in Tangelo Park. And has a younger sister and brother, both of whom were Rosen scholar. Similar to Kenneth, Tyra didn't really come to understand the value of the scholarship until she started hearing others in college talk about finances, about having to watch budgets, and she didn't have to worry about that. Tyra, thank you for being with us. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fine. So I gave them a kind of thumbnail sketch of where you are now. You're the dean of a middle school.
Yes, sir.
And you have been a probation officer and a juvenile correction officer, and then you got a teacher. But you got to tell everybody. We got 1 minute in this segment. I'm gonna come back to you. How did you become a teacher? Tell that story.
Miss Reed, like the other one said, she pushed all of us. I came from a 2-parent home, and I knew we had no choice but to go to school. But it was just a burden that was lifted off our parents because they didn't have to pay for us to go to school. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Rosen on behalf of my family. My brother and sister and my parents. But it was just a remarkable experience just going through undergrad, not having to worry, like Kenneth said, about books, about a meal plan, about if your dorm was going to be paid for. We didn't have to worry about any of those. My sister is a graduate of Florida A&M, and my brother has his 2-year degree from Valencia Community College.
Your brother does?
He does.
Okay. And he's educated. Your sister's educated, and he's educated. Your sister's educated, and you're now an educator. And all of you have been impacted by Harris Rosen's willingness to give scholarships to your family. Isn't that? Oh, in fact, before we go any further, hold that thought for 1 second, Tyra. We're going to take a quick break. I want to come back to you as soon as we come back, and I want you to dig in a little deeper about the impact it had on all of that. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Pick up the phone and just
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent.
You can call on me
When you need me,
call me. You can call on me.
call me.
You can call on me.
Pick up the phone
You can call
and call me.
If you really knew me.
If you really knew me.
Yeah. If you really knew Miguel, you would know.
Well, I fell in love with music early on. Ooh, the very first song I wrote, I can't
really tell you about.
It was about some girl. I grew up in a time in Los Angeles where there was a lot of racial tension between Mexicans and blacks.
Want to know more? Check out the Artist Lounge, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on SiriusXM, Channel 141, HUR Voices.
HUR Voices invites you to join us Sundays for Gospel Spirit. Beginning at 4 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll have the best in traditional gospel music to uplift, encourage, and inspire. From Dottie Peoples to Thomas Dorsey, from the Caravans to the Winans, they all can be found on Gospel Spirit. Turn to Channel 141 on SiriusXM to start your Sunday with HUR Voices. Let's get lifted together on Gospel Spirit on HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141.
I was 11 years old at my first national championships. I fell I don't know how many times.
Michelle Kwan is the most decorated figure skater in U.S. history.
But I had a dream. My dream came true because I dedicated myself.
Dedication made Michelle Kwan a champion.
I was passionate about something and I made sure that I worked hard for it.
And dedication can make your dreams a reality.
Whatever your dream and goals are, they can come true.
Dedication. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Sirius XM Channel 141 presents Voices Specials, radio documentaries that explore the African American experience. Voices Specials will educate, entertain, and inform you about the unique experience of Black Americans. Voices Specials will enlighten and encourage with in-depth exploration of politics, education, civil rights, economics, social justice, and entertainment. Voices Specials will air the last Friday of each month on HUR Voices Sirius XM Channel 141. Tune in and join us.
Welcome to the Orphan Diaries. Here's the founder of Food for Orphans, Gary Van Dyke.
Ken doesn't know how old he is. He guesses at around 7. His whole life has been centered on finding food. You see, he lives at a dump and he's never been anywhere else. You can find Ken walking in a decaying landfill of rotting garbage, plastic bags, and shards of broken glass. To many, Ken and children like him are invisible. But they're not, are they?
For more information, visit www.foodfororphans.org.
Innovative treatments and cures can help solve our biggest healthcare cost challenges. Hi, I'm Diane Alexander, Executive Director of Women in Government. The U.S. is projected to spend $13.5 trillion on hospital care over the next decade. It's more important than ever that new medicines be developed that will keep patients healthy and out of the hospital. Our members support the 854,000 biopharmaceutical sector employees working in the U.S. to meet and beat our biggest health challenges. To learn more, visit FromHopeToCures.org.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. What a show we've got today. We've got a show that will inspire you. I want you to get your children around this radio. I want on this podcast, wherever you're listening. I want you to get your co-workers, your family members. I want you to get people who say, I want to make a difference. I'm tired of seeing people not living up to their potential and their possibilities. And I want to do something. Well, listen to this show and see how it can inspire you to make a difference. We're talking to Tyra. Tyra is now the dean of a middle school in Orlando. She was a juvenile corrections officer, probation officer, then became a teacher with the encouragement of Miss Reed, Juanita Reed, and she now is just excelling. Tell us a little more about the impact of that Rosen scholarship, not just on you, but on your siblings.
I have been a special educator for the past 14 years. I started my teaching career in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I transitioned back to Orange County.
Wow. So tell me about the impact of Harris Rosen on your life.
Mr. Rosen kind of pushed me in a sense where, like I said, I knew I was going to college. I had no choice coming from my parents' house. But it just inspired me to give back. Because I've been a coach, I've sponsored mentor programs, and just to show you how big his heart is, I was living in Atlanta. I was sponsoring my mentor program, which was called Approaching Perfection for middle school girls, and I was looking for someone to take them for an outing or trip. So we were going to come to Orlando, and I called Mr. Rosen, contacted the hotel, and he gave us rooms. So he was willing to give us rooms for $25 so that he could help absorb some of the costs for the girls to actually come down and just spend the weekend in Orlando. So benevolence is one of the things that is really, really big for me. I try to give as much as I can to whomever needs it. Because being a special educator, you see that everyone learns different and you see the world in a whole nother spectrum. So it's just part of me now, seeing that I have been sown into. So it's really, really easy for me to sow into others.
Wow. Folks, I don't know if anybody else who's listening is filled up like I'm filled up. But this is such a blessing to be able to hear these stories that not only that they get blessed, but now they are blessing others with their lessons about success.